Good Monday, everyone. Thanks for stopping by Garden State Weather and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, your superior forecasting source for the northern mid-Atlantic region on this beautiful Monday. Daily video forecast discussion with Robert Smith, your forecaster, on May 19th, 2014. Well, I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend out there. This past weekend was gorgeous. We saw a lot more stratocumulus clouds and a few pop-up showers across the hillier sections of northwest Jersey and the Hudson Valley late yesterday afternoon and evening, but then those skies cleared out. High pressures in control this morning with plenty of clear skies on the visible satellite imagery, water vapor imagery showing the same kind of thing, plenty of dry air in place over the forecast region. And as the ridge axis is just about on top of us, any of these spokes of showers here are weakening as they drive southeast through the Great Lakes into New York. And the morning view from weatherroanoke.com, a digital atmosphere software on the surface chart this morning shows the high pressure ridge right over the top of us, just basically moving offshore during the next 24 hours. A short wave rounding the top of this with some spotty showers driving southeast from northwest as this is over the top of the ridge axis here, but we're not really expecting too much of this to affect our weather. Maybe a few cumulus clouds as convective temperatures are met during this afternoon and some spotty sprinkles across the region. Absolutely no delays at the airports this morning, and none are expected during this afternoon either, due to pleasant weather generally in control. Quite a bit of sufferers still out there with the pollen. I'm one of them. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week features medium to high ranges of pollen due to oak, mulberry, and now grasses across the forecast region. We have no land, sea, or air watches, warnings, or advisories across the region, and this map looks good. This is the aviational area here. And basically VFR today, northwest winds will increase by later this morning, allowing for some gusts mostly in the teens. Stratocumulus field should begin to pop by early afternoon and thicken throughout the day with pockets of rain showers, mostly north and west of Philadelphia. And confidence on that is not too high to add it into the groups of all the TAF areas, the terminal area forecast, though some showers that will affect the terminal should be of the VFR variety. Tonight, VFR continues. We lose the gust and any lingering showers by late evening. Mostly clear skies expected tonight with west to northwest winds at less than 8 knots. Tuesday through Tuesday night, VFR, a few showers possible again late Tuesday night, generally to the south. Wednesday and Wednesday night MVFR conditions possible with scattered showers and/or thunderstorms in advance of a cold front approaching from the west, improving conditions behind the cold front early Thursday. There could still be some scattered showers around the region. Friday could still see some lingering showers, lower conditions, especially early across the region. Right now, it's looking good. Newark, New Jersey, 62 degrees. And the humidity 35%. That's gorgeous. Wind is out of the northwest at about 9, gust up to 21 miles per hour. Visibility better than 10 miles. Basically clear skies, VFR conditions. There could be a scattered shower across the region during this afternoon, and then those clouds and showers will move off away from the region. Basically VFR conditions. Philadelphia, 64 degrees right now. Dew point is 34, humidity 33%. The wind is northwest at 13. Again, we're not expecting any showers in this forecast region here, but the strong gusty northwesterly winds at 15 gusts up to 20 knots, and those will begin to settle down later this evening. Main stem rivers look good with absolutely no flood gauges, no gauges here, 78 in the New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia metro area. None of the gauges showing any flooding possibilities right through May 28th, right after the holiday weekend. That's good news. Going to get into the HRR and the NAM forecast in just a moment. Wanted to take a look at the lowest level lapse rates. These are the temperatures that between the surface and 3 kilometers up in the lower layers from the surface, the ground layer, up to about 3 kilometers up. And basically when we're over 5 here, we find a cool pool aloft in the northwest flow. And this means convective temperatures are going to be met and surpassed this afternoon, and showers will migrate or propagate from northwest to southeast across the region across this afternoon into early this evening. Latest HRR model, high resolution rapid refresh, handles this nicely with the smattering of showers, pop showers across the region. As a disturbance moves over the top of the ridge here this afternoon, we could find some cumulus clouds, stratocumulus clouds, and spotty scattered showers across the forecast region. And these will be diurnally driven due to the temperature differences that I just showed you from the mid-levels into the surface and the upper levels as well. And then these showers will begin to die out across the region during later this evening. And not all areas will see these, by the way. They're mainly going to be confined to the northwest areas, but they may reach the coast and in and out of New York City with the stratocumulus clouds as well. Wanted to wait for the latest morning run of the GFS, actually the NAM WRF Composite Reflectivity forecast from Penn State's eWall site this morning. That's why things are running a little late in the video this morning. And as a result, scattered cumulus, stratocumulus develop across the region. Come see some spotty showers, convective temperatures are met. Some of the cloud bases will be around 5,000 feet, probably pancake out more during the afternoon hours and evening hours, and this will lead to basically virga in most of the clouds. But there could be some scattered showers across the region, even a low-topped elevated thunderstorm with some lightning, but most of that would be elevated, not reaching the ground at this point. And then clear skies for tonight and tomorrow morning. Seasonal temperatures, northwest flow, high pressure in control. Warm front exiting or entering our region during Tuesday afternoon. Moves through during the region with increasing cloud cover. Most of the shower activity should remain spotty into our south and west. The warm front moves through during the afternoon hours. Could find a few spotty areas of showers, rain showers across the region. And then other areas where it's going to be mixed with sunshine on Thursday, Wednesday afternoon, as a cold front draws to the region, and this will introduce the showers and thunderstorm threat scattered about the region during the day on Thursday morning. Last night's run of the European, the GFS and CMC 500 millibar height anomalies forecast taking you through Thursday, the 29th of May. Basically, not too much change from earlier indications. If we went back to yesterday morning, the new one from this morning isn't out yet. Basically, still find that trough south of the Aleutian Islands retrograding, high pressure ridging in across the west coast, and also a ridge breaking out from central and southeastern Canada down through the plains, and our stubborn cutoff low right off of the coast of Maine and the northwest Atlantic. And is still maintaining somewhat of a negative NAO with this blocking pattern in place. Then if we look at last night's run, shows a little bit more of the same kind of thing, not as present in the modeling here in the means. Still find a cutoff low here stuck over the northwestern Atlantic and the coast of Maine and Newfoundland, and as a result keeping a constant threat for precipitation along this boundary where we have polar air mass to the north and subtropical air mass to the south. And it's going to keep the area still pretty volatile in day-to-day forecast. High pressure normally is going to be in control when you get upper lows across this region in the spring and summertime. You get ridges of high pressure building in a loft and surface in a northwest flow. But where these boundaries meet from day to day will be a challenge in determining the actual weather that you're going to receive. Some days warm fronts will try to move through, then cold fronts try to move back into the forecast region. Disturbances moving through this flow in the jet will indicate just where these showers and thunderstorms will begin to pop. Still having a highly amplified volatile weather pattern going forward. Not severe, but if you're looking for hot heat and humidity across the northern New Jersey area, the New York City metropolitan area, the Philadelphia metropolitan area, is not going to likely happen. And the reason why is because we have all this blocking in the northeastern Atlantic and up to Greenland, and that's causing the upper low to really lock in across the coast of Maine. And as a result of that, polar air masses and polar disturbances rotating over the tops of these ridges here with a subtropical air mass in place from the central and southeastern United States to cause a boundary here between the two and a clashing between the two air masses. If we looked at the 250 millibar height and winds here going forward, we can basically see how our upper low is carving out and locking in across the coast of the New England states out through coastal Maine, and as a result ridging builds in early tomorrow across the high plains all the way down through the Mississippi and Tennessee River Valley. But still, these disturbances cutting underneath the flow, causing plenty of moisture and also blocked up pattern here across the southwestern United States in a mean ridge axis here across the plains. Basically, what this is going to do is that as the low continues to spin and lock in and retrograde back, we get into some of these disturbances here where the jet maxes move through the region on Thursday as a cold front moves through the region. And then actually what happens is everything just gets cut off again in the polar stream here with the jet axis moving off the east coast, upper low closing off and locking in across the southwestern United States, and the mean axis ridge begins to flatten back down to the south. So we're in a boundary zone here between polar air mass and also subtropical air mass just to the south. Where these fronts lie from day to day, the thermal boundary will mean either wind shifts because basically high pressure builds in across the surface and aloft across the plains, the Great Lakes into the mid-Atlantic coast states, and that causes our area to be in a northwest flow as the high builds over the top and then the exchanges the winds back to the northeast. This is where problems begin. Look at this from another perspective. Here's our upper low. This is by the weekend. This is our holiday weekend coming up. Looks like high pressure is in control. A few disturbances underneath this in a northwest flow. Still are stuck up, cut off low across the south central plain states. And we remain in a northwest flow with troughiness and an axis moving off the coast. That doesn't mean that this weekend is going to be a washout. Saturday might have a few more showers around. The rest of the weekend looks dry at this point, but generally still a cooler air mass. Now, when we try to get into next week, again, once we get past the holiday weekend, the low gets cut off. The flow is from the north to the south in the upper levels here, the ridge axis back towards the southwest, and we're stuck in this blocked up pattern of a negative North Atlantic oscillation once again. GFS maps into motion. High pressure in control. Here's our warm front moving through the region. During the day tomorrow, followed by a cold front, low pressure moving into southeastern Canada. Again, ridge axis moving off the east coast here, and the cold front comes through. High pressure builds in, upper trough overhead, and disturbances cutting off around it. Spokes of vorticity maximums, convective temperatures being reached. We can wind up with additional showers and thunderstorms across any of these locations, although they're likely to be isolated and spotty as we remain under a trough axis here across the eastern United States with a cold pool aloft. But naturally during the day, surface temperature is going to warm to near seasonable levels, and as the temperatures warm above the convective temperatures are met, and then the showers pop across the region. Same kind of thing for next week. We get into Monday now. We're getting into a trough axis here across the eastern United States, energy coming in from undercutting it and trying to make its way up and off the east coast, staying away from the region, northwest flow, drying, but still impulses of energy moving through the region. We could still find ourselves in a period of wet weather and unsettled conditions over the holiday weekend as well, although they will not be at this time severe in nature, and we'll keep a monitor of all of this. And the models really are having a hard time pinpointing all of this naturally as they would, because we're dealing with three air masses here: polar, maritime, and subtropical air mass in a developing an El Nino that continues with blocking over the top here in the Atlantic and Greenland area with a negative NAO, a positive PDO on the west coast and south of the Aleutian Islands. So a lot of volatility in the forecast from day to day. Our latest teleconnective indexes here from last night's run of the models, basically from NOAA and the PSD reforecast climatology here. We're still looking at a positive PNA from the ending of May to the beginning of June. We're negative right now, but that means the ridge axis is going to continue to build across the west coast at the end of May into the beginning of May, with the wavelengths being such with the blocking that is right now. Currently we're in a positive NAO index here across most of the regions until the end of May, and then we dip down back again into early part of June into the negative again. We're already in the negative right now, and then we're going to pop, and that's going to be because of the change in the PNA across the west coast. The WPO index, the Western Pacific Oscillation Index, really still in the tank here, and so is the EPO index, means that the wavelengths are changing, but there's not much change along the Pacific and south of the Aleutian Islands. These small changes in wavelength producing these changes here in the PNA right now to what you're seeing now to what is forecasted, and the same thing with the NAO blocking. So we've got a highly volatile forecast going ahead. So what's the reason really for what's going on with these backdoor cold fronts, hot days, cold days, showers and thunderstorms? We owe it all to the blocking in the stratosphere. That's number one. We've got an El Nino west base moving on, and we'll show that in a different forecast discussion. The top of the stratosphere continues to warm. It's still below average here. This climatology, the mean average would be in these green shadings here, but as we can see, basically from February all the way on into late May here, we're rising, not falling. So there's definite warming occurring in the upper reaches of the stratosphere. If we go to the middle layers of the stratosphere, we find more volatility here, but still the mean average here showing up from March through June in the greens here, where we spiked early in March, dropped down slightly in April, and remained slightly near neutral in April, and early May dropped down again, and we spiked up at the beginning to near climatology back in late May, and then back down again and coming back up. So there's definite warming that still, if we looked at the curve from the beginning of January all the way through now, even with these undulations back up and down, according to climatology here, or the mean average here, we're still rising. So there's blocking definitely going on between 65 north and 25 north across the poles into central and central and southeastern North America, basically southern Canada in the stratosphere above the equator. And this blocking mechanism has a large effect on the jet stream and what's occurring here in the troposphere. Middle layers of the atmosphere here in the stratosphere. Middle layers of the stratosphere showing the same thing, with warming occurring basically all the way from January up through May. And basically we're not showing any difference here with the blocking mechanisms at any level of the stratosphere over these locations. This is going to be in addition to the El Nino and the active subtropical jet stream, which we're going to get into in the next forecast video discussion. So that's it for this morning and for this afternoon. We'll be back later this evening and early tomorrow morning with more details on your forecast going forward. For Garden State Weather and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, I'm forecaster Robert Smith. Enjoy this Monday.